Going on, guys? How are we all? Good to be back. Good to see you. Let's jump right in. Hey, so updates, guys. I don't know if Nathan ran through this yesterday, but with the webinars now, what we're going to do, 5 minutes. So basically, you have 5 minutes to get in. Then we're just going to lock them out so we can actually focus on moving the webinar forward and actually progress with that topic and that kind of thing. So, as well, guys, we won't be kind of coming to anyone that doesn't put a 1 in the chat. Like literally, we'll just keep going and keep chatting. So put a 1 in the chat if you need anything at all. We'll kind of step away from raising the hand and just go with the 1, and we'll make our way around to everyone and make sure everyone gets addressed as well. So if you have questions, guys, make sure to prepare questions coming into the new year, so we can come in and just kind of move businesses forward through the chat. So let's start with George, brother. How's things? How was the holiday period?
Yeah, it was good, man. I was away for a bit of it and then got back on last Friday. I think it was the third, pretty much. Announced the hamper winner day
Yep,
after that, and I'm literally going to start all the calls straight after this. So
beautiful.
it's been good. It's a bit of adjusting again, but I already booked the hamper winner in as well for this week.
Oh,
And then we're starting next week, and did 2 interviews today with the trainer. Um, which is perfect timing this webinar actually because both went well. Get
yep,
along with both of them. It's probably one I've got slightly more rapport with. However, he's not available most evenings, whereas the other one is, and that could be. I'm still going to run by the references and that, but that could be a factor to why I'd pick the other guy over him.
for
But
sure.
just because I don't want someone that's I don't have to be knocking back people for that.
I Yeah, if you've got slightly more rapport with someone in terms of a trainer, but another person's got more availability, I'm honestly always going to pick availability because you can kind of teach rapport, right? And you still want a connection with your staff and that kind of thing, obviously. But at the same time, like if you can set that line between being a mate and being a staff member, that's a big one from the get-go. Same time, cool. So I think that's solid.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And it was all well with him as well. I got along with him as well, and he's pretty laid back. He's pretty similar to me in that regard. They both were. So whoever I hire, I know is not going to be an issue.
Yep.
Uh, I'll just do some reference checks and see how it goes from there. I think there's about 1 day a week that other guy's not available, which is not the end of the world. But I think Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday is available anytime. And right now, before his uni starts, he's available like pretty much all the time. So yeah, you're right. I just wanted to get your clarification on it
Yep.
because, yeah, I wanted the one that was available too. But I'll run by the references and then I'll finalize everything. Revo's all good with it too. They're all sweet.
Yep.
And I got my trainer starting next week at Fitness First. So deciding which ones to shift off to her. Um, Most clients are fine with it. And then any new ones will go to her too. So sort of just where everything is at the moment.
Yeah, perfect. And even, with most clients being fine with that, it's only the unknown, right? So that sometimes it's just unknown that people really struggle with. For you as well, man, like these guys will eventually be fine with her, right? Like
Yeah.
they'll warm up to it, they'll be completely fine. So volume, that kind of thing coming off the hand, but how's things looking? How many consults are we kind of looking at getting in front of you over the next few weeks?
Hopefully, got about in terms of ones I've actually got a call, there's about 90 or so because I've got about 30 leads off Facebook groups and that.
Hmm.
Um, and then, so hopefully, um, get up to 10 a week if I
Yeah,
can. Yeah.
yep, absolutely.
Um, Obviously, I haven't done most of the calls yet, but I'm going to do that straight after this. So that's what I'll be doing for the next couple of hours.
Spot on. Yeah, I think for all of us now, guys, for those who did run the handbar, 10 to 15 consults is the goal, right? So particularly as people start to come back from holidays, those kinds of things, just hit it hard, get it done, right? Have a really good month and set yourself up for some good growth heading to the back end of the year. So I think for you, bro, as well, just for everyone, with anyone, this kind of like this time of year, use goal setting language in our sales, right? So 2025, why are you here? Is this your year for change? What went well last year? Well, sorry, what went well last year, but what can we improve on? Or possibly what didn't go well last year at the same time? Like that's a big one. And you always want to be forecasting for the future, right? So in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, where do we want to be? Right. And that's huge for the hamper guys, right? Because they put this in for a New Year's fitness journey, right? Because it's a whole new journey. any new lead that you get in between now and probably Feb 1st are going to fall into that bracket of like New Year's resolutionist, right? So like I'm here, I'm motivated, I'm good to go. Now it's our job as PTs to actually solidify them, right? And it honestly, like I think it's on us, right? 100% to keep them in, get them committed. And their words, a lot of the time this kind of year, people are very good at speaking, right? Like they're just really good at just saying, I want to do this or I'm going to do this year. Let's actually stick them to it. I think that's a big one. So that's for everyone. But George, like in a great space, man. Great space. I think 3 months for you in the next 3 month period, things start to unravel, right? And you see all this hard work you've been building on over the past few months, and we bring it to life, which is exciting.
Yeah, definitely. It's just getting everything set up, getting both trainers set up, and actually having a team as well, which is going to be great.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for
uh,
sure. Big
but no,
step.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be different, but it's gonna be good, and it's obviously going to buy back a lot of my time as well. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything on growth tasks. Start thinking like that now, man, for sure. Right over the next few weeks.
no, definitely looking forward to it. So it should
Love
be
it,
good.
brother. Great job. Awesome. Locke, I'll come to you next, man. How's things?
Hey, brother. Just came back from Melbourne yesterday.
Beautiful.
Was on a 5 week long holiday.
It's a big.
It's too long.
Yeah.
Feel I was slacking,
Yeah.
so not so great. Um,
We're back now anyway. Like when you go on holidays, guys, like I'm going to be encouraging you guys to be taking breaks throughout the year. Right? Every 3 months, do something for yourself, reset, get back into it. So for you, like we've had it now, right? Don't beat yourself up. Let's just put the foot down.
yep. Um, 10-15 consults. I want to do that,
Yep.
but I just got back and I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm not trying to make excuses because all of these are important, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously I'll try to reach that goal.
Yep.
But yeah, just trying to get back in the swing of things. My lawn is so high, it's literally like at my knees, and my lawnmower is shit.
The household chores, man, they're always going to be, well, they're always going to be something you have to do, right? So I think for you, how did you go with the hamper? Did you execute any of the hamper? Are we there? Are we there? He's probably cut out. Locke, I'll come back to you. All right, I'll come back to you, brother. I'll move on to the next guys. I want to come to Pina and then Harry just to introduce you guys to everyone. So Pina, I'll come to you first. I think you might. Oh no, you're not on mute. Perfect. How's things?
Yeah,
Did you have a good holiday? Yeah, good times to switch off.
yeah, kind of. I did, yeah. Not so much really. I'm just I've just joined, so
Yeah,
I just want to get stuck into it.
absolutely.
Um, my barrier is the phone calls.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
So I just need to push through that, I think, because
It's
it's a fear. It's a fear.
honest. Yeah, it's everyone's. Just raise your hand, guys. Who didn't want to make calls when they first come in? I know it's everyone, right? So everyone, there you go, right? Like it's a really, really big one. And I think it's a big one because when we're calling people, we just don't want them to get the wrong impression. Or that like we're coming across as cheesy or sleazy or those kinds of things. What do you think?
Yeah,
What do you think it is for you? Does that fall into it, do you think?
I think coming across as I don't know, stumbling for words while I'm speaking to them, like
Yeah.
speechless. I don't know. I just
Yeah. In our onboarding tomorrow, I'll unlock some stuff for us to do, obviously, right? And to
yeah,
actually, so you can, I think once you start moving, things start to feel a lot better, right?
yeah, okay,
Because you've never done phone calls before at the same time, right? Everything we have is basically scripted. It's scripted, but you don't want to follow a set script and sound like a robot at the same time.
yeah,
But your
yeah,
first few calls, you will 110% sound like a robot. Everyone does. All right.
okay,
It's getting into that flow and getting comfortable and that kind of thing. Right. So
okay.
for you as well, hang tight. We'll have our call tomorrow. Is there anything you need between now and then?
No, I've got a lot of questions for you tomorrow, so we'll save it for then.
Beautiful. All right, we'll fire them through then. Hey, no stress
Okay, thanks.
at all. I'll come to Harry as well, man. Great to see you as well. Obviously off the back end of the summit. How's things been getting started?
Yeah, they've been all right so far. Just had a 3-day break over the summer, but now in the swing of things. Had a good day yesterday.
Yep,
Balls made that like 15 or 18.
I saw
Got
that.
6 locked in.
Solid.
Yeah, it was a really good day, but yeah, it's always a hard thing to do calls, but I feel like it just comes repetition. That's just what it is. It feels like the start of the year, I reckon I couldn't make a call or like last a minute conversation with someone, but
Yeah,
now coming into this year, it's just like clockwork. But now, yeah, you sort of just gotta follow the scripts, do key points. That's what I like doing,
yep,
and just sort of follow along, make it up sort of on the way, but sort of like keep those keywords
yeah,
or
for
those
sure.
points. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's been working so far.
It's good, man. And like even with your calls, and that's huge for Pina as well, just to show like it is that work in progress. And I think with our calls this year, elaborating and actually having a conversation with them, I just have treat calls like their family members, right? Like that's a big one. So when you can do that, right, that puts you in a really, really good position, right? And I think when we do this, sorry guys, just had a phone call come through. Using the goal setting in your new member list calls, that's the ticket, right? Because all your new members are signing up because they have New Year's goals, right? And it's really big. So for you, man, 6 booked in, that'd be some really good volume for you, hey? Basically, the most volume you would have had in a long time, or how's volume been?
Yeah, so that was probably I got like um 30 leads over like 3 months since back from October or November.
Yep.
But now, yeah, it's like I've just ran through all those, and then people seem interested too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like,
absolutely.
that's just like helped me so much, and it's like given me even more motivation to like keep going and push through some calls today. Like today, like I made like 4 or 5 so far, but obviously like 3 or 4 of them aren't interested, but like
Yeah.
obviously backs. But it's just like you just have to keep going.
Exactly. And I think, what do you think the biggest difference has been so far with your call? Do you think it's the offering in a way that's been the difference?
I reckon I sound like too much for sales. Like I was trying to shove it into their face, sort of.
Yeah.
I didn't find the problem for them. Like that it didn't seem like they had a problem.
Yeah.
So I didn't like I was just like sort of going like door to door sale. It's like sort of like that. But
Yeah.
like instead of yesterday, like I found an issue for them and found a demand. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
At the end of the day, people just want their problem solved. Right. And that's the same thing when you guys coming in and using kind of the Pinnacle method for consultations, right? Like we teach it in a way where it's very relaxed, right? So at the end of the day, it's a conversation with someone, how can I help you fix your problems? Right. But it's actually getting them to understand how significant their issues are to them. Like that's the big one. A lot of people just don't realize how badly they want to change their life and get fit and healthy. But same thing, man, like awesome to see you come in straight off the bat and just make some calls and kind of get yourself in that out of that comfort zone. Because honestly, like the biggest reward is on the back end of that. And you probably just realize that there, like with that 6 volume straight away.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, love it, brother. Keep me up to date, hey. And just obviously attendance in here is huge. And then I think onboarding, have you got a call book with me tomorrow for your onboarding call? Or is that we
Um,
had it with
perfect.
Nathan side? Yeah, cool. Perfect. Right. So that's all sorted. Great job, man. Love it. We'll come to Kate next. Hello, hello. You there? Doesn't look like it. All right, let's go to Locke. Are you back? Are you back connected?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. My laptop died, and I'm thinking of chucking it away because I got a work iPad now. I just need to set everything up in that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna get that sorted. Yeah,
Run me
just
through,
came back from fun.
yeah, run me through where we're up to because before you cut out before I asked, did you run the hamper at all? Right. Did we get any of the hamper done? Or did you
Um,
kind of leave that before when you were going to get back?
uh, I wasn't able to. No, I wasn't able to. I was really lazy, and I got sick, and that kind of like brought my mood down, and I had to take care of my family members. That's not an excuse. I still could have done it,
Yeah.
but I chose not to.
Okay. All right. So now,
That's my fault. Yeah.
what are you kind of forecasting the next kind of month to look like, getting back into the swing of things? How's that looking? Have we got that planned out?
Right. Don't have it all planned out. I've kind of planned out my week a little bit, like to-do list kind of. Got 12 important things, whether it's like my business or like something in my personal life
Yeah.
that I want to get a result in, or that I want to like, you know, I got like, you know, bills to pay, so, you know, gotta write that in, and it's important as well.
Yeah.
So right now just trying to like hook all my clients in, and really trying to use Calendly to the best of my ability so that I can free up some time for myself. Because last year I was reflecting a bit during my holiday, you know, what was in the way for me. It was my time management, because I would devote so much time into my business and into my personal relationship with my girlfriend that
Yeah.
I was neglecting other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that it's not really sustainable. Yes, I love working, but you know, there's a thing called too much work.
I think like there is a thing called too much work, but there's also a thing that happens to a lot of people, and it's being at work while you're at home, right? Like that's a big one. And as soon as you can identify some strategies to kind of change that around, right? But even when you're at work, like real deep work for 2 to 3 hours versus you thinking about the work you have to do and dragging that out for 6 or 7 hours, the actual efficiency in your work is a big one. And that's for everyone, right? Like really, the things that people need to focus on now is like client retention for most of you guys here, retention of your clients, which comes down to quality of sessions and service, and then consultations. That's it, right? Like that's a PT business summed up in 3 steps. But a lot of us let our negative beliefs, whatever we have on ourselves, the way we perceive ourselves, we drag all these different stresses into our life, and we end up working 2 full-time jobs. And really, it's right in front of us what we have to do. It's just navigating those situations. So for you, man, as well, time efficiency is huge. For me, guys, like I've gone back to this thing, like a diary, pen and paper, right? And it's been awesome because when we're constantly on social media, right, or we're near our phone, near your laptop, that kind of thing, you just have temptation, and we are not strong enough as humans not to be tempted. Right? I know we're not, right? Because I've seen it with so many people. It's a big one. So I think for you, Locke, just being really efficient with your time is the next step. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm trying to be. Yeah, when I work, when I'm in like office,
Yep.
sometimes like I'll think about doing one thing, and then immediately I'll be like, oh wait, this is more important, and then I'll go do that thing without finishing the first thing. I don't know why I do that. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, and that comes down to same thing. If you use, I know most of us use Google Calendar, those kinds of things, and you can cross-reference in the morning onto pen and paper and get it done. That also allows you to stay really locked in on the task, because what happens when you log in to your laptop or your phone, whatever that might be, guess what happens? A message from a client pops up, and then you forgot to reply back to whoever it was, and then it just starts this domino effect, right? And so many people, it happens to so many people. And same thing, because we give in the PT industry, we are basically like, we get people results, right? So we want to be there for them all the time. We can't be there all the time, right? Because it takes away from other areas of our life outside of work, our family, our friends, our hobbies. It's so important that you guys still have hobbies, right? Outside of work. The gym for me isn't a hobby for us. It's our work, right? So, and we need to show up and be fit and healthy for our clients. So something outside of that to switch off, that kind of thing goes a long way. But same what you said there, Locke, it comes down to the discipline of like, all right, am I putting this in my diary? Am I executing on it? Or am I just blocking out 2 hours to walk the floor when I know it's going to take me 15 minutes? There's some.
Yeah, I do block out more time just so I got like some leeway.
Yep, for sure. So I think a good way to be more efficient is block out less time than you think you need, right? If you work on, I don't know, other you guys working on pressure, right, to perform, it's always a good thing, like healthy pressure at the same time. So take off 15 minutes to do a task that usually takes you an hour to do. And when you're actually focused and you're centered, that'll actually take the 45, right? And then at the end of the day, what a lot of us feel guilty if we've missed tasks. You end up performing because you don't want to have that feeling. That's the big one. So I think like block out the time in your diary, just execute it, man. Execute it. And that's the same for everyone. Like someone can put in 3 hours work and be more efficient than someone that puts in 6.
Mm.
I think that's the next step.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you some questions that I feel like I know the answer to already, but
All
I
right.
just want to like cross check with you to see if like it's good.
Yep.
Um, I got some people who like there's one guy that was on fortnightly, and I tried making him go weekly, and now he's saying that he like, oh, I'm actually like gonna move out with like one of my friends, and uh, I don't know if I can make this next payment. Can we go on hold for a bit? Should I just let that guy go, or
Is he not going to commit to 1 a week?
I don't think he's gonna commit to one a week if he's like trying to save up to move out, and he told me he hasn't like worked recently just because of like the holiday break. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, yeah, maybe it's a bit of a lost cause and it's not worth the hassle.
I think like this is what you do with those kinds of people, because people don't like to talk about money,
Mm.
right? They just don't. But if you make them feel welcome and calm in your presence, they're going to open up, right? So next time you have a session with your man, you just sit down and say, look, man, like, what do you think the future looks like for you? Right. So for you, do you think you're honestly at this point in time going to struggle to make these payments? Right. Obviously, your health and fitness is a priority for you, but I understand that you've got expenses, you've got bills, these kinds of things, those things come up. Right. What I want to do is make sure that you come in weekly so I can do my job as the trainer and get you the result as the coach. Right. And just right now where I'm at with my business, fortnightly sessions aren't something I want to offer because I can't guarantee you get to where you want to be.
Mm.
Right. That's all you do with him, man. And if he says like I can't commit, that kind of thing, it's fine. You've done the right thing by him, right? If he's out of his initial weeks with you, whatever that is, I don't know if you're doing the 10 to 12 week kind of commitment, right? Then perfect. You let them go. He gives his 2 weeks notice, and that's how we do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think I'm rewording my 2 week notice thing because when I was on holiday, someone handed the 2 weeks notice. He didn't even start yet. He was gonna start when I come back, but gave me some reasons why he couldn't continue, blah blah blah. And then I realized, oh, he gave me 2 week notice, but I'm on holiday still. I got like 2 weeks left on my holiday, or
Yeah.
2 3 weeks. So that means that I won't receive any payments for this because he's on hold or he hasn't started yet. So
Yeah.
I might reword it to what do you think, like 2 payments or one payment is okay?
That's what 2 weeks notice is in a situation where they're paying fortnightly. Like it's essentially when we say 2 weeks notice, guys, or 4 weeks notice, it's just 4 more debits, right? So yeah, look, you can do that, man, and just kind of phase him out from there. There's no harm in that at all.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be like 2 weeks notice, which comes to 2 debits. So that way it's like specific so that like, they do focus on the first part and then the last bit, if they have any questions, then yeah, I'll answer it.
Perfect. Done. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, with some other people that want to do fortnightly, I think I'm gonna go that route, what you said. Like in the
Mhm.
next session, have a conversation with them and bring it back to their pain point, like why are we here and what are we trying to accomplish? And yeah.
It's a
Mm.
really good way to go about it, right? Because what happens, and this is the same thing. So with all of your clients now, guys, just spend 15, 20 minutes at the start of your session, right? Whatever that might be, sitting down and getting clear and concise goals with them. Because whenever they decide, everyone goes through like bounds of I want to give up, I want to quit. It's just life, right? So when they want to quit, you reference back to their goals, write their goals down, get them to send you a text to them. When they have that excuse, screenshot the goals and send them again. Same thing for you guys that haven't sent me through your goals, guys. Like send me a list of your goals that you want to achieve this year because we'll hold each other to that, right? And I'll hold you to that to make sure we actually perform and hit them at the same time. So like it's a great way to go about it, right? Like and you feel, and we've spoken about this before probably a couple of times, but you feel internally so much better when you run your business the way that you want to run your business.
Yeah. Mm.
Right. And it's a big one. And you start to say no to people that, right, when we first come into business, we look at people, they sign us up, they give us money. Great. When you start to turn down finances, to keep your business in check and your processes in check, that's when you're really starting to level up, right? Because you realize this is actually scalable. I can carry this and I can execute this system, this strategy. And I think for you, man, that's probably a big one. It's hard to say no when people want to kind of jump in and work with you. But let's be completely honest, is one session a fortnight the service that Lockie wants to provide? Probably not.
No.
There you go. There's your answer.
Yeah. The least I want to do is like the 30-minute session. If they can do like the $60 session weekly, and then they still get everything. It's just they have like much less time with me. Then I can at least I can work with that.
Yeah.
So what I should do with this guy is put him on hold for a certain amount of time. What would you recommend to put someone on hold for, like a week or two?
Probably, I think with holds, you get them to fill it out. But a lot of what we have in the T's and C's with Pinnacle, guys, with holds, a lot of people don't actually comply to, right? Like we have in our T's and C's, you have 4 weeks of time hold per year. I know there is clients that you guys have that you put on 4 weeks multiple times a year, right? And it's frustrating because it's in the written agreement that they do that. So for you, Locke, like if you guys want to start living by that, start living by that, guys. Like you don't actually have to put people on time hold when they go away for a week, right? Because you do makeup sessions and that's how you run your business. You do a catch-up session, they form the momentum, or you do the session before they leave as well. And make sure that we're getting paid as a business owner. And like, let's be honest, like we need consistent income, right? That's how we structure everything. We pay ourselves wages and these kinds of things. It all goes a long way. So earn and burn, Tash, absolutely. Earn and burn always is the way to go, right? So for Pina and Harry, it's a strategy that we do to make sure people are actually paying you before they go away, right? And you guys will learn all about that as well. It all makes sense into the future. So, look, I'd send it to him and just say, I think you just say a week's time, sign the form, and then you come in and have a chat and go from there.
Yeah, get them to come in to sign the forms. I don't think I have any printed, but I'll go print some today.
Yep.
Last thing before like I finish.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who studied like nutrition for like 2 years, got a degree in it. And I'm getting her to write me a meal plan and stuff, and maybe teach me some like stuff because I haven't had like proper training in it. I've only like done research online,
Yep.
seen what TikTok says. So it's good to have a second opinion from someone who's actually studied it.
Mm-hmm.
What I was thinking is maybe I can get her to help me like write some meal plans for my clients because the stuff that is on Trainerize,
It's
some
not
like
yeah, it's not good.
it's not the best. No, it's definitely not. And I feel like the reason why my retention is so low is because people aren't getting results from their diet. They're training, but their diet is not the best.
That's everything, right? So nutrition as a trainer is everything, right? So that's why we say, guys, like people get so caught up in programs and like programming and the perfect program, the sets and reps and executing this. If they're like a weight loss client, they don't have strength goals and actual like physique goals, which most people don't. I would say probably 80% of people that I work with in the general population, they need to lose weight. Everything is going to be dictated by their nutrition. And look, that would 100% be a retention thing for your guys. If they're not complying to their nutrition, number one, if you've got MyFitnessPal with your guys, we need to actually get them to understand how badly they want to lose the weight because they're going to start tracking then, right? So when you come in, the first thing you do with everyone is check their MyFitnessPal. Same thing. I know people don't do that, right? If your retention is an issue, do that straight away, right? If they don't have anything logged, you get them to do a fun punishment. Do 20 burpees. Fun for you, not for them, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the goal because then from there, and just clearly explaining to them, like without you complying here, you might as well not be here. I can't do anything for you. It's hard to say, but it's the truth, right? Like that's the big one. So for you, man, just leveling up as a trainer, who has a really good retention rate here, guys? Just raise your hand. I know Sam has a really good retention. Tash has a really good retention. George, fairly good, right? Same thing. For you, Sam, like, bro, what is nutrition a big component for you and what you do with you guys?
Nutrition is always going to be a component, whether or not they're a weight loss client or performance athlete. It makes night and day difference. Especially I work in the city. A lot of guys are corporate health professionals and they've got their own challenges that they deal with. one of the ways I help them with their, I guess, accountability is I've got a check-in form that they complete at the end of the week.
Yep.
And in that check-in form, there's a summary of their total calories and macros for that week that they've completed.
Yeah.
So they're always filling that out. And if
Yep.
not, then I send them a message for them to remind them. Exactly the same way that we have a business tracker.
Yes.
Right? Everyone needs to fill in their business tracker, which is their calories and macros.
Yeah.
Get a reminder to submit it at the end of the week.
Yep.
If it's not submitted at the end of the week, and we've got our session next week, hey, Tuck, I noticed you didn't fill out your form last week. What's going on, man?
Yeah, there you go. Right. And it's just that prompt, right? I think a good way of us looking at it is like, what would you want from a coach?
Mm. Mm.
Right. That's a huge one. Like, put yourself in your client's shoes.
Mm.
Would you rather a friend or someone that's like, we can be friendly, right? But at the same time, would you rather someone who's just going to tell you what you want to hear or tell you what you need to hear? Right. I think that's the way of the future. Like, just telling people like, this is the brutal and honest truth. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't want to acknowledge it. So Tash, chip in with that one as well. Carrying on there. Did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, definitely on that one as well. That's why I've redone my T's and C's. So I've been open and honest with my clients what my goals are for this year, for my goals, and I explain that I've got a potential trainer I'm looking at starting with in February, and the process that goes into for them, they don't just take me on. I have to work for it. So I've got to have like there's 2 specific programs I want to have done by then. I've got to go and have blood tests done. I've got to do this, do that. So then I've got an appointment with them at the end of Jan to see whether they'll take me on. And there's like non-negotiables, like active recovery, blah, blah, blah. So I've explained that to them. So obviously my goals are a little bit more obviously athlete based than what theirs are. But say accountability wise, I've then got to say that with this coach, I'll either have a face-to-face or a virtual session with her. When I'm training on my own, I have to record every single session. All my nutrition has to be logged. I have to do active recovery. They know I've got postural issues, so I have to see an osteo. There's conditions that have been outlined to me as if, and this is what if she takes me on. So I'm basically putting into that, and I've also redone my T's and C's. Because I found a lot of people have gone lax. I've got everyone's goals for the year. Everyone's getting a goal set session because a few of them have still got leftovers from last year. Yep. So I'm doing a goal set session running through, and based on those goals, I'm saying this is what is going to be incorporated. So making sure I've redone the cancellation policy. So for their sessions, instead of being at 12 hours, it's 24 hours. Unless it's extreme, then that I've basically upped the ante of that. Coming in, making sure they're warming up, making sure they're doing their food diet. That's incorporated into the app, which has got their programming. So I'm sitting down with them and saying, this is what's happening, because a lot of people got results last year, but not the results they wanted because of these other aspects.
Exactly, right? Like,
so I've got the whole thing. So Si's already checked it off for me.
Yeah.
So I'm printing it off, and I am getting every single client to sign it. So I'll get a copy of it. There's no excuse. And I say, this is what's happening. So same thing as like people not turning up, late cancellations, that sort of thing. I don't have time. Same thing. I've basically gone back through, like you mentioned, with Google Calendar. I've got everyone's email addresses in on their sessions, and I'm giving them a 4-week buffer for January. So I normally do like a message check-in, remind on the weekends for their sessions.
Yep.
Everything states now that everything's going to be in the app. If the app, they need to check their app on the weekends to make sure that their sessions are loaded, whatever.
Good.
They haven't, let me know, because I can do that. But as of February, there is not, unless there's a change in their schedule. So I've got a couple of students, or I've got people that do shift work, which their shifts and their schedule changes. That's completely different. But everyone else, there is not going to be these reminder messages.
Exactly.
It's giving me 2 hours back.
There you go. Right. So Tash,
I was like, I'm going hard, and if you don't want to work with me, that's completely fine. And I basically also going to be giving them a 3-step warning. As far as like sessions, particularly I've had a couple of early mornings where I've turned up where I've either had very late cancellations or no shows. You get 3 warnings, otherwise that session is allocated to somebody else.
Yep. So Tash, how long have you been with Pinnacle for, do you think?
Coming up to about almost 2 years, I would say.
2 years, right?
Yeah.
This is a classic reminder, like this is a classic example of discovering your self-worth, right? And this is a classic example of getting pissed off, right? And doing something about it. Now, for the new guys here, Sam, Peter, Harry, guys, there comes a time where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And you'll experience it throughout your journey, but the quicker that you can just implement everything what people are saying here, set the standard, right? When something isn't happening with a client, you ask why. You hold firm on the boundaries. At the end of the day, like you go to a specialist, you go to a doctor, they tell you to do something, you do it, right?
Yeah.
We are doing a doctor's job, but we're 10 times cheaper over time. We're 10 times cheaper than a surgery. Like people just don't see that because they don't say, look at the qualification, what's this person got? Can they really change my life? 100%, right? But that'll come through your confidence in the way you actually present and say like, look, I'm here. And you set the standard from the first session, the very first session, the first time you meet. People want to be helped, but at the same time, we can't help them if they don't comply. And I think if you can be really clear on that, then that'll go a long way. But Tash, like that's awesome. Like it's a really great way for you to start the year and just say, no, I'm not taking any more crap. Like, because
I've also incorporated that within our app, there's going to be fortnightly check-ins as well.
Yep.
I'll be chasing people up if they're not doing them. And I've also just put into the same aspect. So look, the check-ins you guys are doing, I'm also, if my coach takes me, I'm also having to do it. Mine's going to be a lot more in depth, but I am also held accountable. So if I'm paying a coach that's working with me for my goals, expecting that, then I also expect that from you guys, because that way the check-ins go through. I can see their workouts and the nutrition, but looking at their stress, their sleep level, questions, whatever, it's a non-negotiable component to it as well. And then obviously they've got I'm about to do a email out the end of this week for price rise, and so I've got to get that to Si as far as, because I'm also making that body scans are included in their costings at moving forward. So there's no excuse for them not to do them, rather than go, oh, I don't know. Well, it's included. If you can't make the session, when the guy's in, I'll find a time. But it has to happen. I don't give a crap.
And a lot of your clients, what they're going to do, you're going to come in, like this is for everyone, right? If you take some inspiration from this webinar now and you go, all right, this is like a turning point for me. It's time to change and actually do what I'm saying I'm going to do and be tough on clients. A lot of clients aren't going to like it initially. But in the long run, I can guarantee you they're going to be a lot more thankful, right? Because they're going to have the results, or they're going to be held accountable to achieve the result. If they don't comply, this is where your business becomes top tier, like a top tier service. If they don't comply, Tash, like 3 touch points, or we call them warnings. And then, sorry, like I can't work with you because I can't comply. Like you can't comply. But at the same time, it's our job to somewhat support them to comply. But that's where we have check-ins. You have everything. Like most people here have a training app. They do body scans. You have your weekly sessions. You have like 24 access to your coach, 7 access to your coach. Honestly, there only comes so much that you can offer. And we constantly think, we always beat ourselves up. Like, what am I not doing? What can I do different? The number one thing that you can do different is be tougher.
Yeah, definitely.
Tougher with yourself as well. Like, did you show up this week? Did you make the call? Right? Did you break through the barrier? Did you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be some form of resistance, and it's the little things. Like, did you go to the time?
I mean, add to that as well.
Yeah.
The frustration thing, I'm definitely feeling, and I think a lot of us feel it a lot. And the frustration comes because we want our clients to get the best results, not just for us, but for them too. And then the frustration comes when you're trying to find value. How do I give you value for you to get those results? And now, because I'm trying to find value, I'm investing all this time and energy into you, but you're not taking it on for you to have the results that you said that you wanted. So that's where the frustration comes from. But I try and do like two things. You call it setting the standard. I call it managing expectations.
Yes.
And then the second thing is being soft on the person but hard on the problem.
Yeah.
So when it comes to managing expectations, it's like you said, Tash, you have the P's and C's. Hey, this is what's expected from you guys, and then this is what's expected from me. We're going to make sure we do this together. And also, these are the results that you can also expect at the same time. Now, your results that you will get will be conducive to the things that you set in action. Then number two, they're not completing those tasks. Okay, now we need to go and address something. Soften the person, harden the problem. Because they, like Targan said, it's our job to support these guys. And something is happening along the way that's stopping them from getting to their goals, whatever, usually it's their own fault, whatever it is. But they do, hopefully, both of them do want to make a change, and something is stopping them from making that change, and usually it's a story that they're telling themselves. So when we go and have the touch points or the three warnings, it's dude, what's actually going on? Cool. This is the issue. I'm not having a go at you, but this is the issue. How can we tackle this issue? And then as you start dissecting the issue, then we might find that maybe we need to change their goalpost and change their goals as well. Oh, actually, I don't think looking at my nutrition is that important for me at this point in time. I don't think the weight loss is that important for me at this time. But I do love training with you, and I want to continue coaching with you. All right, cool. Let's just forget about the nutrition at the moment. Now we've managed expectations from both of our points. I don't have to feel like I'm investing, chasing you up for the nutrition thing. And we're both happy in the level of service that we're both providing to each other.
I mean, the good thing too is I've also outlined with those I've done my goal sets already with is the personal sessions that are happening monthly. They're not there. Instead of being a physical session, they will be getting a personal session. So it gives us a chance for me to go back and find out what's worked, what has worked, what hasn't worked, get their feedback onto it as well. And also starting off small. So like the goal for everyone starting as of this week, as far as that with the nutrition stuff, is basically with the app is getting them, okay, I want you to, everyone's got their macro breakdown so they know exactly their targets and what the expectation is. So I basically said, look, for the first 2 weeks, I just want to make sure everyone just logs their breakfast. Whatever it happens to be, just getting into that and then building it from that onto it. So therefore they don't feel it's quite overwhelmed. We've also got a nutrition session with my nutritionist in a couple of weeks as well. We're just basically just going to rehash a few things. We're going to do a troubleshoot with the app as far as making sure people are understanding how to log, what's the best way to do it, that sort of thing. We have a big database within that as well, and we're basically encouraging people if they're doing things like recipes or foods that isn't in the app, to send it through to us. We'll upload it, that sort of thing, creating that community, that bounce back as well. So, we're doing as much as what we can, and then just putting it back onto their goals and say, look, going back to what we last year, I said, look, you said that you wanted these goals, you weren't happy where you finished up last year. This is a result because of it. These are the goals that you set out. Do we need to look at rechanging those as far as do we, is that number one goal, is that sort of a bit out of reach at the moment? Do we then put a new goal and then restructure it to that goal itself? Once we've mastered that, then we can remove the boundaries and start pushing forward from there.
100%. Like, I think.
Sorry, I got a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
What Tash was saying, with like getting a nutritionist in, that was kind of like what I was going to ask you. Like, would it be a good idea for my friend who did study nutrition and she's got a degree in it? Should I like get her to write my clients like their meal plans?
I wouldn't say so. Just like, sorry to cut you off there, man, as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so initially. Now, so many people ask this question. It's like, is it extra value to get a nutritionist into your business? Yes. Is it actually applicable and applicable at the moment? No, because people don't comply, right? If they can't comply to macros, I guarantee you they're not going to comply to a meal plan. They're going to do a week and they're going to hate it. And that's just through my experience. Everyone does that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what's good is getting her to educate you, right? Guys, like honestly, you can write a meal plan up and put meal recommendations on the top and it'll pass and it's fine, right? So, or meal options, something like that. If you want to give that to people coming off the bat, like when they first sign up, perfect. Right?
Generally, coming into that task, what we normally do as far as structure with the nutrition session is because I've got so many different cultures within my client base, is that we don't do meal plans per se, because majority of people they haven't got a fitness goal. They've got a fitness goal, but they're not like an athletic goal. They usually want a weight loss, whatever. So we do it as more of a lifestyle, finding out the foods they like to eat.
Nice. Yeah.
And then combining with that. So if they like their chocolate or whatever, we make sure that we include that into that. And we give them feedback based on something on an 80-20 rule. So rather than giving them a meal plan, we just go, okay, as long as you're having it that fits within your macro. So for us, we focus more on their total calories, which so most people undereat, and their protein.
Yep.
That's whatever the carbs and fats are, that's fine for the time being. As long as we're hitting those two markers, that is completely fine. That means they're having pizza once a week, ice cream, whatever. As long as it's hitting within those targets, that's how we structure it, because we find most people trying to do a structured meal plan, it's just too rigid. So we kind of have that balance between. Me, on the other hand, like I said to my clients, my structure with my goals, I will have that. So for me, it's going to be a lot harder, but that's my goal.
There you go.
So,
right. So I think as well, hopefully that helps Locke. Does that make sense, man?
Yeah, I think I might like DM Tash later if that's okay. To
Yeah,
like
go
get more
for
of an
it.
idea
Go for it. Yeah,
of like
definitely.
how to do this, because
Yeah.
I obviously have my friend who knows more nutrition, and the way you structured like your nutrition advice or your nutrition sessions, I may want to like add that into what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Use guys, like honestly, for the new guys here, like same thing, Pina, Sam, Harry, we talk about being personal trainers at Pinnacle. So not just physical trainers, like really relating to the client, getting deep to what they want. You're coaching here, like you're mentoring, you're doing what I am here to your clients, right? Like, so sit down with them for 20 minutes in their session if they need it. Some people might need that every single week, a sit down, because at the end of the day, it's so much more than just that physical session. Now, like tying into what we were talking about before with authority at the same time, so many of us struggle to be authoritative because we're kind people, right? Like that's the big one, right? So what we need to do here is let your processes, let your T's and C's, let your standards do the talking, right? And it's what Sam was saying, like we're not so much being like authoritative, blunted to the point to the person, but our processes and our systems allow us to deliver it in a calm manner because we've got that in play. Right, that is the biggest thing for all of us going forward. And I think a lot of people, like for me, I've taken value from this webinar today as well. It's been a great start to the year. And I think same thing, using everyone in this community, right, to support you. The community is lit up right now. It's great to see, right? There's so much engagement. Everyone's interactive. The more you can show up every day for your business, put your best foot forward, the easier these kind of things that we talk about get implemented into your business, right? So that's the big one. Now, we've got last 10 minutes here, guys. Is there anyone that wants to jump in that I haven't spoken to yet that needs anything? Just put a 1 in the chat. If not, we just continue on. I'll jump around to the last few people here and make sure everyone's good to go. But yeah, drop a 1. I'll wrap it up here. I've got to head off bang at 1 o'clock, but we'll go from there. All right, so let's go with, I'm going to come to Jimmy, Kate, Sandro, and Cass if you need it as well at the end. Jimmy, fire away, brother.
How are you, my man?
I'm well, bro. How are you?
I'm all good, bro. Mate, if someone else has got I don't really have a question, so if someone else wants to take value of the time, go for it. But just feel the energy in the gym's obviously still a bit quiet, I think for another week or two. But 3 consults this week, hoping to get another 2.
Beautiful.
Got 2 clients come back. I've got 3 coming back next week. And mate, just starting to market all these for the new signups, all these prizes and the hamper and everything. So
yeah. Love it, mate. And like a lot of us guys, like a lot of us think Jan is the month. It's a great month because people are getting back into it. Feb 1st is your month. Feb 1st is when everyone's back and everyone's kind of out of holiday mode, that kind of thing, right? Most of my guys are still on pause until the end of Jan, right? So just kind of prepare yourselves for Feb. It's going to be a big month, but perfect, Jimmy. If you don't have anything, we'll just continue on, brother. Spot
Nah,
on.
it's got to start in my own head. I'm already going, fuck, what happens in 2 weeks? What if this doesn't get better? I haven't been paid almost for 2 weeks. What happens? I'm thinking, fuck, just leave it, bro. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Just execute. That's it, brother.
Yeah.
Spot on.
All good.
Love it, mate. Let's go to Kate with a K. How are you? I feel like I haven't spoken to you in a while.
Hello. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I logged in a little bit late. I was on call. So I was trying to catch up on the conversations. So I don't really know what the topic is today.
It's a little bit of motivation and everything, I think, right? So it's more about setting standards for the new year, I think, is a big one for everyone, and kind of creating that new identity for yourself, right? Because so many people like Tash, I think you were here when Tash spoke.
Yeah, I heard what Tash was saying. Yes.
That's a big one for you.
Very strict. Yes.
That's the new one for you.
But kind of in what direction I want to go as well. So I really liked what she had to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was also like a big thing to me. I want to engage with my clients more. That was one thing, to keep them more accountable, more value, more of me, to really help them, showing them that I am there for them.
Yeah.
But I also like last year. So I think today I'm pretty much 1 year on my own business. Beautiful. And I think pretty much from the beginning, I actually said to my clients, you have to meet me halfway.
Yep.
Because I'm here for you, but I can't do it for you. I pretty much said it from the beginning. Yep. But this time I kind of need to go a little bit more into this. Yeah. Like, I actually had that's maybe a good thing for today. So I had, when was it? Last week, Friday, I had a session with a client, and she was a young girl, early 20s, literally just starting the gym. So her goal is like with most of them, they want to lose body fat. They want to, fat loss is not even her main goal. First is just getting a routine and increasing strength and getting more confident in the gym. Yep. And she actually told me that she wants to stop. Yeah. Because she said she hasn't canceled yet, but I feel like it's only about time. So she was pretty much, I thought I don't know how longer I can keep up that routine. He said, what do you mean? I didn't think I actually said to her, so you haven't done much yet. And she was looking at me like she wanted to kill me. But you haven't put in much effort. Everything I asked you to say, you haven't done yet. Oh, but it's so hard. I never told you it's going to be easy.
Just say, is it harder staying the same? The way you are.
So I actually was catching myself, think so, Kate, what was that?
That's you stepping out and saying, when you're doing those kinds of things, you just have to start it with a pre-frame and then an ending, right? So when you say you actually haven't done much, right, then of course people are going to go, oh, geez, all right. But if you say, can I be completely honest with you? You haven't really done much, right? And I'm saying this because I care about you and I want you to get to where you want to be. See how that just comes across as so much more gentle, even though you get delivering the same message. That's the big one. All right. I think for you, that's the next step. But I love that you've taken that leap, because that just shows me, like Tash, you're just sick of it. You're sick of bullshit excuses. Let's be completely honest. Yeah.
And another thing, would you actually tell a client because I got one client, he never has, at the beginning, he was really good. He's been with me for a few weeks, but I actually haven't seen him since beginning of December last year. Yep. And I said, so, hey, I booked you in for this and this time. Can you confirm back to me? And he was like, so, I can't make it because of my job. I said, so it's 6:30 p.m. when you booked in. You're an electrician. You don't work that long. Yeah. And I can't make it. I can't make it. And then I would have loved to say him to his face, but I actually sent him a message when I sent out my confirmations, and he said, okay, I can't make it. He told me the only time he can do is around 6:30 p.m. on a Wednesday. It's his only slot.
Okay. Right.
I don't believe that anyways, but he has time to go fishing and drinking 2 cartons of beer, but it's a different story. And I actually, so he said I can't make it. So I like rescheduled my whole calendar just to get that spot free for you.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, I can't make it. I said, so maybe you should think about how important that is to you.
Yeah.
Like basically a call of maybe quit your contract with me because I'm sick of it, but I don't want to tell him that because
this is
I don't necessarily want to tell him quit coaching with me, but would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and I see Sam's really new to the program, but he what we call vetting people is like making sure they're right for your service. Right. So Sam vets people pretty hard from what I've heard, right? This is a classic example. Like sometimes when we get in that flow of signing all people up, yes, we get like commission breath and it's like dollar signs in our eyes and it's like, cool, like I'm on this flow. But at the same time, like you're sitting here, this guy's causing you more pain than not. He's actually like you're spending more money trying to keep this guy in as well. Right, like think about that. Think about all the time you could be putting into good clients. If you want to keep your standard of your business really, really high, right? Those are decisions that you have to make. Honestly, I look at my business sometimes at Temper, I'm like, oh, probably 20 to 30% of these people aren't at Temper standard. And that's hard to admit, but that's been built out through bringing on multiple trainers and getting them to have to buy in. And let's be honest, the PT industry, finding quality trainers like you guys that are showing up every day to work for your business, there's not many. Right? There's not many. And it's very similar to clientele, right? Like if you're working with the elite of the elite, which a lot of the time is athletes, you tell an athlete to log their food, they're going to log their food if it's going to get them better at their sport or something like that. Now, I know that our general population people aren't athletes, but why can they not be? Why can you not be an everyday athlete? Why can you not feel your body properly and do these kinds of things? I think for you, Kate, that's probably one of the best things you could do. And you just say, look, right now, I think it's best we part ways purely because I can't provide the service I want to provide to you. Done. You put it back on you. You did it because of this, right? So have that conversation, send a voice note if he's not coming in either way. Voice notes are always good. It's still got a personal touch and you can just deliver it cool, calm, collectively, and that'll make you feel so much better as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. Nice work. All right, guys. Sandra, Cass, if you guys are all good, just give me a thumbs up, right? You got something, Sandra?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hi, big fella. But good. So just kind of going off what Jimmy and Tash were saying before, just sort of implementing. I've been a bit more dialed in with my nutrition and my nutrition coaching. That's something I sort of want to bring on board this year. But yeah. So just if there's conversation between Jimmy and Tash, I'd love to sort of jump involved in that and sort of learn a little bit from Tash. Because that's something I'm looking for, like looking to sort of, because obviously like with my coaching, it's the nutrition good. Like obviously I make them, my approach is making them aware of what they're eating, looking at the label, but there's not much tracking. And that's something I sort of want to bring in now and use of my fitness power.
What I'm hearing as well, I'll set up for next week, guys, a nutrition masterclass. Right, everything nutrition, spend an hour together. It'll be a separate webinar. Right, just come in. We'll book a timer. Everyone can come in. Just have questions about nutrition, what works well, what doesn't, and we'll go from there. Right. So if you guys want that as well, I'll do a poll in school. I'll get it set up now for you, Sandra, as well. So come in, drop a vote.
Yeah, hey, good, bro.
We'll do all that, hey, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Awesome. I got to run into a session, but it was awesome talking to you, and I'll see everyone in the next webinar.
Done. Good, guys. Hey,
I love you all.
Really good energy like today. Really, really good. Pumped to be here with you guys. And like the conversations that we're having now have just leveled up since last year as well. I think everyone's showing up and setting standards, going a long way. So community, keep it lit, guys, as well. I'll put that post in there. Give me half an hour. I've got to actually walk and meet Sam for a coffee. All right. So I'll get some work done there and we'll go from there, guys. All right. All right. Great job. Looking forward to the new year and we'll attack it hard. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.